we are about to meet our surprise guest on the satellite, and there he is.
Right.
Hi, Joe.
Jexter.
How you doing,
How
buddy?
are you? Hello, everyone. Happy holiday.
I've been better, Joe, and you know what I'm talking about.
It's NFL great Joe Theismann, by the way. Hey, Joe.
It's been a tough weekend all the way around for me. I know exactly what you mean. I was thinking about wrapping myself in a box and just like, poof, here I am.
That'd be all right.
The president that never stops talking.
Right. So, Joe, your most legitimate gripe, I think, is probably about Notre Dame.
Yes.
Are there going to be a couple of major blowouts in the first round of these football?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I really wouldn't be surprised in the first round if we see that. I think Notre Dame is playing as good a football as anybody in the country. We were. Everybody's talking about Notre Dame, Miami, Miami head-to-head, all that kind of stuff. But what's Alabama doing this with 3 losses? Nobody. Right. I don't think I haven't heard anybody propose the reason why a 3-loss team is in the playoffs. Why isn't BYU in? They only have 2 losses. Why isn't Texas in? They had 3. I mean, there's, the committee, through their decision, I think, has erred grossly and not having Notre Dame be a part of the playoffs. I think they earned the right to be there. I'm not, not as a Notre Dame grad. Listen, as a Notre Dame grad, I'm upset as can be. But I think they earned the right to be there. You're ranked above Miami for the entire last half of the season, and then all of a sudden you don't get in. And Alabama, I don't know if anybody watched the Georgia-Alabama game over this past weekend, but that was a beatdown.
Yep.
And by the way, Alabama lost to Florida State. If you want to go back to the beginning of the year, they lost to Florida State at the beginning of the year. Florida State did not have a good year. And they lost to Oklahoma. And, of course, Georgia just, pounded on them. Hey, it's despicable to me, and it's wrong.
Is there
the university isn't in? The University of Notre Dame's not in.
Is there a way somehow, goodness gracious, that we can get this to be more of a decision about what happens on the field instead of the guys in the meeting room picking the team? This doesn't. Yeah. Now we've just got more people involved and more upset than when they used to say, "Okay, Nebraska's number 1." Back in the '80s when I was a kid or whenever it was. Sure. Yeah, there's got to be a way to do it on the field. Like the NFL does it on the field. Yeah.
Why not take the top 12 that are ranked at the end of the year?
That's what I said, Joe. Thank you.
Christy, I agree with you. I mean, why not take the top? Now you've got quote unquote conference champions getting automatic bids. Eliminate the automatic bid. This isn't hard. But it seems like everybody wants to make life complicated. You take the top 12 teams at the end of the year as they've played themselves into position instead of having people sit around a table and debate whether they belong or not.
Yeah,
I agree.
I just, how do you? I get so sick and tired of hearing this head-to-head stuff between Notre Dame and Miami. How about Alabama and FSU? That was the first game of the season.
Yeah.
Why don't we reference that game? Like I said, I'm upset that Notre Dame, is not in. Absolutely. But the head-to-head stuff, I'm a little bit tired of when I look around and see other teams that have a better record than Alabama, and yet they're still in and still ranked 9th. Seriously? No offense to Alabama. It's been a great program, but it wasn't this year. And to me, they didn't deserve to be where they are. And Notre Dame deserved to be competing, but, as life goes on, they're not going to have that opportunity. And I admire Marcus Freeman saying, look, we're not going to a bowl. The players, I'm sure, made the decision along with the coach, and I admire them tremendously for doing that.
On a different note, this whole thing with Lane Kiffin, how is it that it's possible to talk to these coaches when the season's still going on? I don't understand. Who makes that, or a lack of a rule to keep it like the NFL where you don't talk to the coaches until the season's over?
There's a lot of rules out there that just don't make any sense. You have last year, for example, the signing portal decision date was in the middle of the college football playoffs. How do you allow that? And they say, well, it has to do with semesters. Football is no longer about education. It's about economics.
Right.
So why not just treat it the way it is? You have universities have athletic directors now, but they're not athletic directors. They're general managers. You have player personnel directors. All the colleges have become professional programs. professional football, basketball programs. They have people making decisions irrelevant to the educational aspect of it. And it's a system that continues to sort of get worse and worse and worse. You'd hope and think that it might get fixed, but it seems to be getting worse and worse. And now it's a mess. Guys all over the place. If you have a lot of money, you're going to be able to buy the players you want to buy. Is that fair?
No.
At the collegiate level? And I'm not, listen, fair's out the window it was a question I posed, but it doesn't exist. So I think there's multiple issues in college athletics going forward. And if coaches are one, paying players for over a year, guys just picking up and gals just picking up and leaving when they want to. There has to be some kind of framework where it works and makes some semblance of sense.
Wasn't there a way, though, for Lane Kiffin to go to LSU and just wait until Ole Miss was out of the playoffs?
That's what I thought. They're not going to sign somebody else.
Of course not.
The betting numbers were 95%. He was going to go to LSU. Florida was a consideration. You hear that, but that wasn't going to happen.
No.
I mean, they could have said, okay, at the end of the season, we'll go. Now take a look at Ole Miss. Charlie Weiss Jr. is the offensive coordinator who's going to go to LSU with Lane Kiffin.
Right.
Is now going to coordinate the Ole Miss bowl game.
Right.
The bowl games, the playoff games. So, like I said, there's lots of things going on in college football that don't seem to make a whole lot of sense. And it's all come to somewhat of a head now.
Well, on a happier note, how's your Christmas planning going? Are you?
Listen, Robin's done a fabulous job on Christmas, as she always does. She's decorated our trees, mom and dad's trees, our nephews, nieces. She's unbelievable. My wife has such a knack and such a great ability to be able to make something out of nothing. She could take a barren tree and make it look like the most beautiful thing in the world. So she handles a lot of that. We're pretty much finished with all of our Christmas shopping, which is early for us this year. She's running, going crazy like she has to. So it's been the Christmas has gone well.
Now, have you done any shopping? Have you done any little shop? Have you done any shopping for her?
A little bit. Okay. Yeah,
well, that's a great question, but have you done any shopping for me, Joe? Have you done any shopping for the Chickster, Joe? Any jersey that you might come across? Or?
I had to finish Robin first, Chick, and then I started you.
I guess. All right. Well, I'll be watching my mailbox,
and then we can get to the coal in the stocking by the Commanders.
Oh boy, yeah. How do you explain NFC Championship game last year and what are we now? 3-10, 4-10? I forget.
3-10. I think.
3-10. Yeah.
Every game last year that we won.
Yep.
In the end, are the games we're losing this year.
Yeah.
Chicago. It started with Chicago last year in a positive way, and it sort of started in a negative way this year with Chicago. I was in Spain for the Miami game. Lost that one at the end. The Denver game, lost that one at the end. Yesterday was just it was a difficult time. Jaden gets hurt again. Ertz is gone. Just one thing after another. The football team is running out of people. You look at how Patrick Mahomes was under siege last night in that game. When you take into consideration that, they had 3 brand new offensive linemen in Kansas City's offensive line. It's this time of year, if you can get healthy or be healthy, you really have a leg up on everybody else.
Right.
And obviously the Colts, it looks like they've lost
Daniel Jones.
Yeah, Joe, explain that to me. How could he? I understand that they said it couldn't. The break in his fibula couldn't get any worse, and he could play on it. But it's just hearing that his leg is broken, and he's playing football. Does the Players Association step in and go, "You can't"? What about his future? I didn't understand that situation.
I think they announced this morning it was an Achilles.
Yeah, but the prior week they say he was playing.
He was going ahead and playing with a fracture in his fibula.
The other leg.
I broke in 1972. I broke my fibula up in Toronto, Canada, when I played in the Canadian League.
I did not know that.
It's considered a non-weight-bearing bone, and it depends on the break the type of break, a spiral break, a side fracture, whatever it might be, it's considered a non-weight bearing bone. So if it wasn't that bad, possibly he could have played.
Okay.
Daniel's toughed out a lot of different things. I feel terrible for him.
Yeah.
It's a contract year. It's an opportunity, a second, third lease on life, I guess you could say, in the NFL. And he has something like this happen. It's unfortunate for the Colts as well. The Colts are one of the best teams in the AFC.
Yeah.
Now they're going to have to rely on other aspects of their game to be able to get it done.
They may have to call you. They're
I am not, Chick, just like you're on my Christmas list, I am not on their Christmas list.
What do you, on a totally dumb question, which is my specialty, what do you think of the guys that are essentially wearing shorts on the field? Have you noticed this, sort of
Nobody wears pads anymore?
Right. Yeah. No pads.
Yeah.
Well, I knew
they just wear the pants. They wear them above their knees. I got to be honest with you. I wore knee pads. I was one of those guys when I played that I took all the padding out of my thigh pads and I only wore a shell, a tiny little plastic shell on my thighs. So, I was one of those guys. You think it makes you faster.
Okay.
I don't know psychologically it does or not. You think it makes you faster. And I think the guys feel like if they have less encumbering their ability to run or move, it makes them quicker. It makes them faster. Some of these guys are so fast anyway, you could put, you could have weighted vest on them. They're still going to run 4.25, 4.3.
Right.
Do any of the, I don't need to get into the specifics of your nether regions, but do any of the players wear cups anymore?
I haven't been in the locker room, so I can't answer that question.
But you didn't wear a cup, did you, Joe?
If I was, I wouldn't answer it anyway.
You can't ask Mr. Theismann if he wore a cup.
I think I can. Joe, did you wear a cup? Yes or no?
When I played Little League baseball, I caught. Yes, I did.
Okay, there you go.
Very evasive.
No, you can tell nobody has ever worn a cup in the NFL, and that's amazing. Right,
Joe? How do you like? Before we got to go here in a second. How do you like the throwback uniform thing?
I like this. I like the throwback uniform thing. I do. I like the fact that we can dabble back into history a little bit and bring up some of the uniforms. Some of them are really ugly.
Yeah.
And some of the new ones are really ugly. So but it's sort of nice to take a stroll down memory lane every now and then.
Well, the white jerseys Washington's wearing now are ugly. They should go to the Super Bowl, what they're calling the Super Bowl era jerseys, make those the aways, keep the burgundy and gold for home, and just shut up about it. That's what I think.
I will, next time I'm up there and out at the park, Chick, I will certainly, mention your concern.
Let me tell you something, Theismann. Don't you kid me. You tell them I said, hey, look, if they upset me, they're losing $250,000 in merchandise each and every year. Okay,
I'm sure at least.
at least.
Well, I like to put it this way, Joe. The Baltimore Ravens, when they wear their throwback uniforms, they dress as the Cleveland Browns.
Joe
Theismann is a great public speaker, and not to mention football analyst. You can find him on his website. If you have an event you'd like to have someone enlighten a crowd with, call Mr. Theismann. Joe, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time, and Merry Christmas.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Thank you so much for having me. Merry Christmas to everybody there, and good luck to the Colts going forward.
Thank you.
Thank you, Seven.
Thank you, Joe. Merry Christmas.
All right.
There he goes.